Hello to everybody. This is me, Veerle de Bruyne, and I actually wasn't going to do this video because this is another dramatic day for not only the Belgians and you know what happened in Zaventem and in Brussels again today on the we are today the 2021-22. The 22nd of March. It's dramatic what happened, and it's my heart is really with the people who've lost loved ones and family and so on. But I wanted to make this video anyway for a couple of reasons what happened today, and not only astrologically. I want to explain a little bit about the Belgian chart as well, astrologically. But actually 2 days ago when I was doing the horoscopes, the monthly horoscopes, I actually wanted to make a video about stress and about not anxiety but stress and terror and that you know what it does to the body and all of that. And then I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that because, you know, that's a difficult topic to talk about. But now I think by the circumstances that are happening, maybe it is a time to talk about it. I don't know. But anyways, now this is happening just before the eclipse. Tomorrow there will be an eclipse in and of course these things don't only happen on eclipses, but bear with me, because if you look at the chart of Belgium, the chart of Belgium, that is when Belgium on the 4th of October of 1830. I'm not taking the hour or anything because I don't really always believe, I'm not really quite sure about you know, when is a country developed or when does it come into existence, you know, to know the hour for sure. I didn't want to look it up all. And but the thing is, it's on the 4th of October, and actually this eclipse is just falling on the sun of the chart of Belgium. So Belgium in itself has the sun at 10 degrees of Libra, opposing Pluto at 8 degrees of Aries. So these are significant points, and then the moon, which is the people is represented by the moon, and the moon of the Belgians is in Taurus at I think 10 or 11 or 12 degrees of Taurus. Now, so this is significant, you know, when the sun is hit by this eclipse. So and it's not only the sun, it's the sun opposite Pluto. That shows a lot about, you could say, the personality of the country. Sun opposite Pluto, sun in Libra, which the sun is ruled by Venus in the chart of Belgium. The moon is ruled by Venus, and I think that's what Belgium is all about. It's a Venusian-oriented country. Absolutely, it wants peace. It wants easygoing. You do your thing, I do my thing, and we're all happy together. And we eat and we drink and we have a good time. But the sun opposes Pluto, so it also shows that it's a strong character, you know. When someone in a natal chart has sun with Pluto, like in a conjunction, a square, an opposition, a trine, it shows a strong personality with a lot of willpower. At its best, with a lot of willpower and strength. At its worst, it can be a manipulative person as well. So never ever underestimate the Belgians, because they know. They might not show it into your face, but they are a bit like that. They are known for that. And the other thing that the chart of Belgium is showing is the want for control. Sun opposite Pluto shows, whether it is for a person or whether it is for a chart of a country, it shows someone who wants to be in control. And it's also a bit... Pluto is a very traumatic kind of planet at its worst, but at its best it's like strength and power, you know, strength, let's call it that way, strength. So So a country like that will do a lot to not get influenced. You know, people with Sun and Pluto, they won't get influenced very easily, normally. And that's my message straight away, not only to myself, not only to the Belgians, but this is affecting everyone, of course, or not everyone, but the whole planet. You know, it has so big consequences. And I think, and this is also the characteristics of the Sun Pluto, it's willpower. It's using our willpower, our inner strength to not get influenced and distracted by events like that. Now, I don't mean to say like, oh, the events that are happening are not terrible. Of course, they are dramatic. They are terrible. They are such an attack. But that's exactly what they are trying to do. They are trying to get people out of balance. They are trying to get you in a state of stress. You know, people who suffer from complex PTSD or PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. What is that? That is because multiple events happen during mostly childhood that were so attacking the personality that you had to shut yourself off, or you had to fight, flight. What is the other form? There's a new one, like Pete Walker did also another fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Anyways, I don't want to get into all that, but we are coming into a society where stress will be augmented tremendously, more and more and more and more. And like with someone who suffers from CPTSD, it's like they suffered in their childhood with more than just one traumatic event, like someone who had child abuse, for instance, and who had to undergo that tremendous amount of fear in their body when someone abused them, not only sexually, but also, you know, you're getting attacked by a caretaker, for instance, and those adrenaline, and it's all in our body, the adrenaline and the cortisol, we are getting so many levels of them that you get dysregulated. That's why these people suffer so long after that period, when they're like in their 30s, 40s, 50s. They're still suffering from that because their body is used to all those big levels of adrenaline, which is not what we were made here for. I mean, we're not wired to have all those amounts of adrenaline in our body all of that time. That's why we do those defense mechanisms like freezing and dissociating and flight and fight and so on. So we as a society now are like under attack, you could say, to put us under a tremendous, by these attacks of terrorists. And I don't want to go into the whole thing here, but I think what is very important to know is that we know that we are, that this is happening, that we're seeing it, we are being alert, but at the same time, we don't let ourselves get into the whole motion, you could say. I think the moon is with Jupiter actually today. I'm not quite sure. I'm doing this quite spontaneously. So I mean the moon with Jupiter. So the expansion of emotions, although it is in Virgo, so it's very analytical. So that's good. That's good. And you also see that on the images that you see what's happening with Belgium now, and even during some videos I saw, and people were, I think, for that kind of situation, quite calm. They reacted very calm, and that's strong. But the thing is, I think we are learning now, or it's, to say the most positive, it's to learn how to not get into that into one of those four defense mechanisms, which are freezing, fighting, flighting, fawning. I don't know how to pronounce that word. And that means collaborating or you know, people pleasing or something like that. So, and it's funny, I just came back from a yoga class. I'm doing, I don't know how people can deal with life these days without doing something physical. I mean, sometimes I hear people, when I'm doing charts of people, don't you exercise, don't you do anything? No, how do you deal with all that is coming towards us? I think getting physical is it's one of my mantras actually. It's going to become even more and more important. And I just came back of that yoga class. I do, you know, to stay, it's not actually to stay physically healthy, it's to stay mentally healthy, to just take your time to, hey, I've got a body. And there's also, because it helps you to get back to your inner self. And I'm not doing those yoga things like, and all of that. It's very physical, dynamical yoga. It's called Ashtanga yoga. My goodness, I thought this is gonna be easy, but it's not at all. Anyway, I think, so I came back and I wanted to start my work, and then I got all emails from people from America, from the UK, from everywhere, again, asking what is going on in Belgium. So yes, I think it's the same message actually than another video that I did when there were attacks in Belgium here. It's being alert, and it's also, today is a day that a lot of exams for the children are done. So actually today is supposed to be a very uplifting day. You know, my son came home here with 3 or 4 other boys. And they're upstairs and they're having a good time. They went into the city, and I think it's very important to stay that also, you know, with yourself. Stay with yourself, but being alert, absolutely being alert at the same time. We cannot put our, just close our eyes at what is happening. But the more that we see this, the more we will have to do things to stay with ourselves. Now, another thing I want to mention here is that the thing about Belgium. Belgium is a country that I have studied economics, and one of my papers, or how do you call that, was an international study actually, how to get along with different cultures. How doing actually business when there is a difference in culture. That was one of my papers, and I took 2 countries, Belgium and Japan, because these were the countries that were known for having saving the most in their country. So Belgium, for instance, is a country that is known that a lot of people do save. And that has to do with the cultural value, which is avoiding risk. So Belgians, together with Japanese people and also with other people, but these are the 2 countries who pop out, are countries that are very fearful, and that are very fearful. Why? Because they want to avoid risk. They prefer that instead of taking a risk. Like, for instance, our neighbor country, the people from the Netherlands, they are known, and I know quite a lot of people, because I'm living with one, with a Dutch guy, and they have a totally different culture. They want to take risk. They're way more confident in their, you can see that in history as well, of course. They're very confident, they respect someone else, and they respect themselves as well. And so why am I saying this? I'm saying this, that also a country, it's not really good, it's not really, it's a bit tragic what is happening to Belgium today, and because it also has a history of, you know, it's very fearful, and it wants to, it doesn't want any risks. So I hope that that Sun opposite Pluto will show itself at its best, namely, look, we're not gonna let them get away with this, and we're going to use our willpower for something positive and show them that they're not going to be able to run all over us, you know, that kind of attitude. Because although in a negative way, Sun and Pluto is about fear as well, is about fear for losing the control. But why am I telling this? I'm telling this because this is learning us something, that when there are, again, suicide, the numbers of suicide in Belgium are, in comparison with other European countries, way higher, and so in Japan. And that is all linked together with the fear for taking risks and so on. So I think it's going to be very important to be aware of that, one, and secondly, doing things to not get into that mode of trauma, actually. I might do some other videos later on, not today, but when you find that interesting, and when I find a little bit more of information. And but the other thing is, and the last thing, maybe the most important thing that I want to talk about, is that I once saw a video of, and that man already passed away. I only remember his name is, he passed away a couple of years ago, and he was doing a lot of insights and research from the Mayas. And his name is Ian Lungold. Ian, I-A-N, and then Lung and Gold. And he made a video once about the mind versus intuition. And I think that we are going towards from the mind. The mind is, you could say, it's a tool. It's a tool to understand and to understand what we're seeing. It's you know, thanks to the mind, we can talk and so on and so on. We can be objective and do stuff with it. But the mind is getting, I think we can only have a certain amount of thoughts per second. I think 24 every second or something. So we are going to get more and more the mind getting overstressed. And that Ian Lungold said that the stress is going to become tremendous in the future. So that the mind as a tool is not useful anymore at a certain point, and we will have to get towards intuition. Now, but with intuition, that is that he means the alignment with the divine. That's the intuition. And it's not only the alignment with the divine, it's also the centering. And I think that's a really interesting thing, because I do believe that this is the only way that we will survive, you could say, by not only centering ourselves, by doing very grounded things like good, good food, good eating, by, doing the little things like the you could say the earthly element that is very important to stay grounded and with the feet on the ground. But it's also that divine connection, that aligning of your will with the divine will. And that is what he called intuition. I think we are going towards that. The mind is not going to be able to process everything anymore. Now, having said that, I gave you a little bit of astrology. I wanted to just react on what is happening here now. I hope it doesn't get worse, but who knows? It's a full moon tomorrow. So I wish everybody a lot of strength and a lot of possibility to align yourself with the divine. And if you don't believe in God, I know a lot of people and a lot of clients said to me, but I don't believe in God. Well, get aligned with your higher self, to say the least. Get aligned with what you think is your higher self. You can start from there. Having said that, notwithstanding what happened today, I wish you a very good day or a night or evening or whatever. And above all, thank you for listening. Bye-bye.